Okay, welcome back, students. I hope you're enjoying these little mini lessons regarding the homework. Today I'm going to do 7.1, and in these problems we're given these conversion factors and the prefixes for large units and the prefixes for smaller units. The smaller units are on the right side, the larger units are on the left side. And in this problem we're asked to convert between two units. The units are the nano and the pico. It doesn't really tell us if it's a picosecond or a nanosecond or a picometer or nanometer, but it doesn't matter. We're just looking at the conversion between these prefixes. So if we look in the chart, we find that the nanometer is 10 to the minus 9 and the picometer is 10 to the minus 12. So if we look at those ratios, we could make a couple statements. So the first thing we could say was that if I look at the ratio of the pico to the nano, the pico is smaller because it has a negative exponent of negative 12. The nano is small, but not quite as small. In fact, the picometer, we'll find out in just a second, is about 1,000 times smaller. Okay, so the picometer compared to the nanometer is, and the way you do this is you take the 10 and you take the exponent and you subtract the bottom exponent, which actually causes us to add 9 because the double negative. Okay, so negative 12 plus 9 is negative 3. So what this says is that the picometer is about 1,000th, because 10 to the minus 3 equals 1 over 10 to the third. So the picometer is 1 over 1,000 nanometers, 1,000th of a nanometer. Okay? So we're asked to go, so let's say that again, that we say 1 picometer equals 1,000th of a nanometer. Okay? Now we could reverse this, and if we looked at the opposite ratio, we looked at the ratio of the nanometer to the picometer, you're going to notice that the top one is bigger. It's still small, but it's bigger than the bottom number. So it's 10 to the minus 9 divided by 10 to the minus 12. Doing the same thing, it's a minus 9 plus 12. We get a positive 3, so it's 10 to the third times bigger, which is 1,000 times bigger. So 1 picometer is equal to, or sorry, let me restate that. 1 nanometer is equal to 10 to the third picometers. Okay? So now we can make a choice. We can either use this conversion factor or we can use this conversion factor. And just think in terms of logic. The nanometer is bigger, so it requires more picometers to make a nanometer. Or you could say that since the picometer is smaller, this is the right one. There's 1,000th of a nanometer is 1 picometer. Now that we have that information, we can actually solve this problem. Okay, so let me clear this out. And now we can go 3.82 nanometers, and we're going to use that conversion factor. So we said that we want to go from nanometers to picometers. You can either put a 1 with either one of these, but I want to say that 1 nanometer is 1,000 picometers. We could also write this as 10 to the third. So it's 3.82 times 10 to the third picometers. Okay? Alright, let's take a look at the next one. Okay, in this one we're given 6 trillion miles, and we're asked to convert it into Yotta miles. Okay, so let's start with the 6 trillion miles, and we're going to convert miles into kilometers, or we can convert it into meters. So since I have a conversion factor here in my book from a mile to a kilometer, I'm going to go ahead and convert to kilometers, or kilometers as some like to say. So let's convert 6 trillion. So let's count our zeros. We got 3, 6, 9, 12 zeros. So we have this many miles, and we're going to convert miles into kilometers. So according to one of my textbooks, I find that 1 mile is equal to 1.609 kilometers. If I multiply these two numbers together, 6 times 1.609, let's see, I get 9.654. Now, it's also, don't forget the fact that we're also needing to multiply by 10 to the 12th. So this is how many kilometers that we have. Now we're going to take that answer and we're going to convert that to yotameters. Okay, so to do so we need to look at the ratio of kilometers to yotameters. Okay, so let's find out how many yotameters equals 1 kilometer, or we could say at 1 kilometer equals how many yotameters. Let's look at the ratio. So a kilometer is 1,000 meters. So the kilometer is 1,000 meters. The yotameter is 10 to the 24th. Okay, so if I express this as a ratio, or if I do the division of the exponents, I'm going to get 10 minus 20, or sorry, 3 minus 24, which is 10 to the negative 21. So 1 kilometer is equal to 10 to the minus 21 yotameters. Now we could actually invert this and do the reciprocal and say 10 to the 24th over 10 to the 3rd, and this time we're doing the yotameter ratio to the kilometer ratio, and it's going to be 10 to the 21st. So a yotameter is 10 to the 21st times bigger than a kilometer. Let's go ahead and use that conversion factor to convert to yotameters. Okay, so it's 9.655 or 654 times 10 to the 12th. Now remember that number, 9.654 times 10 to the 12th. .654 times 10 to the 12th, and we're in kilometers. Okay. Okay, so I think we said that there was 1 times 10 to the 21st kilometers in 1 yotameter. Alright, if that's the case, we multiply the numbers on the top and divide by the numbers on the bottom. And so we're really just concerned about the exponents. So 10 to the 12th divided by 10 to the 21st is 10 to the 12th minus 21. So what is 12 minus 21? It turns in 10 to the negative 9, sorry. So the answer is 9.65 times 10 to the minus 9th. And the answer they give is 9.66 times 10 to the minus 9. So I think we're close enough. It should count it for you and not against you. Okay, in the next video, if I have time, I'll create another video with a couple questions that you guys might have. Maybe it's number 13, maybe it's another one. Let's see what questions I get this week, and we'll see what problems I end up doing, because I typically do 3 or 4. Thank you for watching. Hope it helped.